Beneath the calm blue surface of our oceans lies a hidden world, one that's silent, endless, and full of secrets humans were never meant to uncover. Divers exploring the deep often expect coral reefs, shipwrecks, or marine life. But sometimes, what they find is far darker: the remains of ancient civilizations, eerie relics from war, and ghostly reminders of human tragedy. These chilling encounters leave even the bravest explorers shaken, realizing how little we truly know about the world beneath the waves. So, take a deep breath and prepare to descend into the unknown. These are the top 10 terrifying things divers discovered underwater. The tomb. In the depths of the Mediterranean Sea, divers searching near the ancient coast of Egypt stumbled upon something shocking: a submerged stone tomb sealed for centuries. Inside lay multiple sarcophagi, eerie carvings, and human remains preserved by salt water and time. It's believed the tomb belonged to an ancient temple complex swallowed by the sea after an earthquake. The site was haunting skeletons entombed in coral, artifacts still resting beside them as if untouched since their burial. Some divers reported hearing faint echoes in the chambers, like whispers carried through the currents. For them, it wasn't just a dive into history, it was a journey into death itself. Skeleton in the Antikythera shipwreck. The legendary Antikythera shipwreck in Greece is already famous for yielding the world's first analog computer, the Antikythera mechanism. But in 2016, divers discovered something even more haunting: the remains of a human skeleton, lying silently among shattered amphorae and bronze statues. Named Pamphilos, this skeleton was nearly intact, preserved for over 2,000 years beneath the seabed. DNA analysis revealed traces of ancient Mediterranean ancestry. Divers described the moment as surreal to see the bones of a person who once sailed these waters, frozen forever in time. Surrounded by priceless artifacts, this lonely skeleton was a chilling reminder that history's greatest treasures often come at the cost of human lives. The Michigan shipwreck. Beneath the icy waters of Lake Michigan lies one of the most eerily preserved shipwrecks in the world. When divers located the schooner Rosabelle, they found it standing upright on the lakebed, its hull completely intact but not a single body aboard. Inside were personal items, boots, letters, and plates still neatly arranged on tables. It was as if the crew had simply vanished. Even stranger, the ship's lifeboats were missing, but no survivors were ever found. The cold, dark water preserved every detail, turning the wreck into a ghostly time capsule. Divers who ventured inside described an overwhelming sense of dread, as though unseen eyes watched them through the murky silence. The dolls. Few underwater discoveries are as unsettling as what divers found off the coast of Mexico: hundreds of decaying dolls scattered across the seabed. Their hollow eyes, cracked faces, and tangled limbs swayed eerily with the current. Many believe these dolls drifted from the infamous Island of the Dolls, carried away by storms. Others think they were part of a ritual meant to ward off evil spirits, but underwater, the effect was purely terrifying. Some dolls were even found nailed to wooden posts or half buried in sand, staring upward like forgotten souls. For the divers, it felt less like exploring the sea and more like trespassing into a watery nightmare. Artifacts. From the Britannic. The HMHS Britannic, sister ship to the Titanic, met a similar fate when it struck a mine in the Aegean Sea in 1916. Decades later, divers exploring its wreck found haunting traces of its final voyage: medical equipment, stretchers, and even hospital wards eerily preserved in the deep. Some divers described floating past porcelain sinks and surgical tools still laid out as if waiting for patients who would never arrive. The silence inside the ship was overwhelming. Many reported the eerie sensation of hearing faint metallic echoes like ghostly footsteps in the distance. The Britannic may rest in peace, but its story of tragedy and heroism still echoes through the cold, dark water. The St. Cyner. In 1979, the fishing vessel St. Cyner mysteriously disappeared off South Africa's coast without a trace. Years later, divers finally located the wreck, and what they saw defied explanation. The ship stood almost perfectly preserved, with dishes still stacked on tables and personal belongings scattered about. It looked as if the crew had vanished mid-meal. Not a single body was ever found. Some divers even claimed to hear strange creaking sounds and distant metallic knocks, while inside, as though the ship itself were trying to speak. The mystery of what happened to the St. Cyner remains unsolved, leaving a haunting legacy in the depths where silence hides the truth. Chuk Lagoon. Chuk Lagoon in Micronesia is one of the largest underwater graveyards in the world. During World War II, it was home to Japan's massive naval base until it was destroyed in a U.S. air raid known as Operation Hailstone. Today, over 60 warships and hundreds of aircraft rest at the bottom, preserved in eerie perfection. Divers who explore the lagoon often find the remains of soldiers still inside helmets, personal letters, and even skulls in the control rooms. The atmosphere is heavy with tragedy. Many describe a strange stillness, broken only by the faint hum of their oxygen tanks. It's both a museum of history and a mass grave, a haunting testament to the cost of war. The Stingray. Off the coast of Florida, a team of divers reported encountering something extraordinary. A stingray so enormous it defied explanation. Its wingspan stretched over 20 feet, and its movement was slow, almost deliberate, as if observing the divers with intelligence. The creature circled once and disappeared into the dark blue void, leaving the divers stunned. Scientists speculated it might have been a previously unknown giant species or an ancient survivor from a forgotten era. The divers, however, described a feeling of awe mixed with fear, a sense that they had glimpsed something ancient, powerful, and not entirely of this world. James Amabile. For nearly 2 decades, the disappearance of Pennsylvania resident James Amabile remained a mystery until 2022, when volunteer divers using sonar discovered his vehicle submerged in a reservoir. Inside, they found his remains, perfectly preserved by the cold water. Amabile had accidentally driven into the water one night in 2003, vanishing without a trace. The discovery brought closure to his family but left divers shaken. Seeing his watch, wallet, and personal belongings still intact was a chilling reminder of how easily the ocean or any body of water can swallow evidence of a life in an instant. The water hides everything until it decides to give it back.